Regarding the submission, on Monday, inshallah, it's going to be a draft submission that's not going to be graded for the assignments. And you will continue to work on it until the following Monday, inshallah, and that's when it's going to get graded. So on Monday, get as much of it done so I can give you constructive feedback, we can pin them up and we can give you some comments عليهم, so you can continue to work on it for the following week. Okay, let's start with beams. Anybody's beams move? Do your beams line up with your slabs? You go to view, remove the line weights, thin lines. You see that the top of your beam line up with the top of your concrete slab? Yes, no, maybe so. When you select the beam on the first floor, it should say minus 100, minus 100, the start and the end level. If it does not, that needs to be fixed. So just double check it so we don't waste time going back to it after. Did everyone do the project transfer standards that I mentioned on Teams? Why not? تقولون لي أجي أحط البوينتس وأجي أقرأ جوايا التيمز. You don't read that? Okay. Since you didn't, we're going to waste time in class doing that now. So please open the file now with the Zeta Teams. There's a file called Revit Details. Last class or this class? Download the file. الفايل هذا نفس ما سوينا قبل. ذكرون we did a transfer once and I did new wall composites that were added and different line types or shop. We're going to do the same thing because I added new stuff to that file. بس الحين غير قبل. الحين عندنا وايد شغل سويناه in our files, and this step could mess up your file. I warned you in Teams, I'm going to warn you now. Whatever file you have الحين, you save it, you copy it and you save it, and you have a backup. أي أحد بيقول I lost my file, it's on you. Okay? Your file, you go now to open where you have it saved. Let's say it's this file, you copy, you paste it anywhere that you want. Same folder, desktop, anywhere. المهم you have a backup. Because what I'm going to ask you to do now could mess up your file. Okay? الفكرة إن هنا يصير عندنا backup. So when I do the transfer, if the file transfer messes up the file, خلاص, I delete it and I do it again to my original file, بس I copy it again طبعا. Okay, so الحين أبيكم تسوون شغلتين. تنزلون الفايل من Teams. I think it's under sections. Did you find it there under folder sections?
It's a Revit file.
Yes, I think it's called Revit Details وبتاريخ اليوم أو قبل أمس 21 أو 23. Download this file وبطلوه. Your file, and again I'm going to say it again. Copy it. So save what you have. You can close Revit, save the file. Copy the file as a backup. وبعدين بطلوا الفايل الجديد. بطلون. ذكرون شلون نسوي transfer؟ أول شيء transfer شنو وظيفته؟ Transfer project standards. آخر مرة استخدمناه حق شنو؟ Materials, walls, floors. صح في different things you can transfer. فالحين أنا ضفت أشياء أبيكم تضيفونها مرة ثانية families as well تضيفونها على الفايل الجديد. الحين شنو المشكلة؟ إذا أنتوا عندكم بالفايل مالكم الحين غيرتوا setting، خلينا نفترض طوفة من الأطوف let's say brick exterior interior. الحين الفايل مالي أنا عندي فيها details. Okay? If you customize your wall without تذكرون قبل أقول لكم always duplicate and change it. If you didn't duplicate with anything that you customized, لما تجيبون الحين فايل مالي it can override your customization. So it will set you back the work that you did, the time you put by editing text, editing walls, editing floors. عشان كذا قاعد أقول لكم خلينا نسوي as a backup. We do the transfer on that backup, and then you see how it's going to affect your file. If the file looks good after the transfer, then you continue with the new file. Okay? الحين download the file and open your backup file. تذكرون شلون نسوي standard شلون نسوي transfer؟ شنو steps to transfer information from file to file؟ تفتحون فايلين. And they have to be in the same window, in the same ما يصير Revit بروح نشوفهم as tabs هنا. When you click here on the tab, you need to see both files هني, the file you're working in and the Revit detail file. اثنينهم يم بعض، واحد مبطل هني وواحد هني. بعدين بطلوا الفايل مالكم. الحين they're both open, so هذا مبطل فاضي ما في شيء, it's 3D view صح؟ بطلوا الفايل مالكم, the backup. And then where do we do the transfer?
With
Manage.
Transfer project standards.
Yes. مو بطل. Make sure it says copy from Revit details. So make sure you have your file open, not the other one. Otherwise you would copy your file to the other one. فاحنا قاعد نبطل الفايل مالنا والثاني اوريدي بطل. بس الصفحة الأكتف هو الفايل مالنا. Go to manage, transfer project standards, check all if they're not already checked. Transfer and override. Once you do the transfer and override, you're supposed to check. Once you override, you're supposed to check all your views. Start with site plan. We're keeping an eye out for anything that changed بالتصميم. طوفت حركة, text صار كبير, صار صغير, شيء does not look normal, whatever changed. Spot any changes from your past work. Check roof, site, ground floor, first floor.
Okay. I don't uncheck anything.
You have to check all and do override. Did something disappear, like your section, صار شيء اختفى؟ طوفة اختفت، طوفة تحركت. Your materials كان فاتح صار غامج أو العكس. So you check your floor plans, you check your كل الأشياء اللي اشتغلتوا عليها, your elevations that you worked on, anything changed, the dimensions. Check your section that you worked on or didn't work on since last time. Once you check your views, check your sheets. أي شيء تغير بالشيت? Does it look normal?
Override, right?
Yeah. Okay. You can do a full check after. We're not going to get so much work done today, but after class, check your file. If it's okay, then continue on the new file. شفتوا مشكلة? Trace back, go back, find out what happened, and then you can change or uncheck. You don't bring that issue in. You might not override that issue.
If the text changed, do I just go back and then uncheck the text thing?
I have new text in there, so I would suggest you change your text.
Okay.
يعني the text that you have اللي فيه مشكلة
Yeah.
غيرين فايلك غير الاسم
Okay.
بعدين bring the new text in.
Okay.
Dimension.
Dimensions, I added new dimension styles.
فعادي وجاي.
I added new ones. I didn't, I don't remember customizing one that's existing. Maybe one of them, the text got smaller, which is a good
بس
thing.
صار أكبر شوي.
The text on Akbar, that shouldn't have happened. And then, next thing, I want to go back to the section. Again, do a full check after class. Just go back to the section. I want you to double check your slabs in the first floor. Sorry, not the slabs, your beams. Check your beams in the first floor.
لما identify في فجأة one board line in between عادي.
لا. But let's first make sure they're actually where they should be. When you select your beams بالدور الأول أو اللي هي يعني السقف الأرضي اللي هو بنص البيت هذا. Any of these beams are supposed to say reference level first floor but then start to end minus 100. Okay? At least the ones we see in sight in here. Or the ones in the bottom, the خط هذا اللي تحت, it's supposed to say, it's supposed to line up with these ones. زين؟ الطوفة اللي فوق البيم هذا اللي بنص البيت هذه مع اللي وراها select both.
هذا السكشن الثالث اللي سويناه.
هذا that's the new section. So the walls مالت الحمام هذه وهذه. The base offset, do it minus 100. To bring it down to cover this gap. You see there was a gap here, فوق البيم. So we're bringing down the wall. Select both walls so you're doing it right in the full project, not just one of them. Hopefully بالوين والطوفة هذه.
نسوي له شنو دكتور؟
Base offset minus 100.
اللي هو المفروض تنزل صح؟
And yes, and make sure your beams are aligned with the core. So your beam is supposed to be aligned with the core.
Do I align them في البنص؟
اللي بالنص شوي
The beam they're not aligned on the wall.
مع الcore.
Yeah. The wall is shifted on the beam.
The beam is supposed to be at the center of the grid.
Should I move the wall?
Okay, just for wall alignments, I don't know if some of you had your walls shifted from your grid.
Yeah.
If you go to the ground floor, check your grids and look at the file I sent. You'll see certain walls have to align. This is the center of the core. Your walls need to be aligned with the grids. Some of you have them shifted. And we have that actually shifted. If you have issues with your walls and your beams, you can check the beams. If you go to structural plans, the first and ground floor. Your beams are supposed to be aligned. هذا أول واحدة under views في structural plans. First and ground floor. But I can't go into detail into this because it's going to take time. Again, it's not really a Revit class. So you'll see here your beams. They should be lined up with these grid lines.
دكتور في بيم ما تبين عندي بالسكشن اللي هو بالنص.
Did you hide it?
لا.
To check if you hid a beam, click on the light bulb and go to wireframe. تحت, change it to wireframe. That will show you anything that's hidden.
ما سويتها.
إذا سويتي هالخطوتين هني
إيه.
حطيتي wireframe وحطيتي light bulb.
شو وين ورقة؟
هذا يم level detail level في wireframe. It's hidden line by default. So change it to wireframe. Wireframe makes you see through those elements, then if it's not wireframe, you won't see what's hidden behind. يمكن مسح بالغلط. You have to add it. Okay, I'm just going to mention it quickly, but it's going to take work to do it, so I can't go into details. But if you go to the first floor and the ground floor structural plans, that's where you can add the beams if it's missing. You can have the business of one missing side. To add a beam, you can either copy one that's already there and place it, or go to Structure, Beam, and select 200 by 700. عندكم beam ناقص and you want to add it. And then placement plane, the level, that's the level, first floor, if you're doing it at the first floor. And then you can click and drag, follow the grid, and add your beam there. And after you draw it, check it in section, and you can do adjust the heights. If you still have issues with the beams, I suggest you talk to Monica So to help you with the beams.
دكتور هو موجود بالستراكشر الكام بس ما باين يمكن
Hey, check your cut where, go to your ground floor or first floor. Not the structural, the regular. Look at your cut, مع zigzag هذا, مع section cut. It's supposed to cut through here.
I think
تحت
this is way of
تحت خط طوفة في beam. So make sure you're cutting through that wall. Make sure you're not going outside of the building or cutting through the wall. The Quran, we talked about that last time. Okay, so back to the section. Ashan, we know what's joined, remove thin lines, you'll see things unjoined like this. Kalamna, now we're going to join everything to everything. Right? So modify, join, not while join under geometry, this one. You join the slab with the beam with the other slab, the beam with the wall with the slab, wall with the slab. To know that everything is joined, mafi wala dark line in the intersection between them. This way you know everything is joined together. So this worked here, do it here as well. Don't join things that are disconnected. يعني مثلا الحين beam هذا, we don't need to join it with this wall above. We join it with the wall next to it. Otherwise you're going to get an error that the geometry is not connected. And then the wall with the wall actually. So again, it's supposed to look like that. This slab is dropped. The Kalam Kalama, there's what's happening in the bathroom. Why is it dropped? Piping, okay? So I can later move it around and stuff. Yes.
The house diameter عندي نفس اللي عندك بس إذا I want to cut through the beam and the bathroom and the bedroom كل هذا it looks weird. Yes. Yes.
Where did you do the
Yours isn't cut through the beam, عادي.
beam and knee? Make sure this is not through the beam like that. It's not through the beam along with it. It's cutting it, cross cutting. And it doesn't make sense to cut through a wall. We cut across a wall, right? And in Chile, this is wrong. We're supposed to cut outside the wall, but then we cross it this way. But maybe that's the issue. Maybe you're cutting along the beam.
I wanted to cut through the beam, like not I shouldn't.
I don't get it. Did you resolve the issue or that? Insane. Let's go back. This beam here on the first floor, you still have issues in need with connection.
Yes. Yes.
It wasn't a question, it was a statement. So you still have issues. So to fix this beam here, I want you to create a region, filled region, concrete. You can do thin lines, and then you're going to trace all across the concrete parts. For here, actually, I want you to go all the way across to the top of this line. You can go, if you can't grab the exact part, اللي هو هذا الخط, go over it and then draw this line, cross it. That way you know exactly you're going to make a connection here. TR for trim. This way you know this is a 90 degrees fully connected. وبعدين نكمل الرسم الخط هذا مو فوق مو تحت. Make sure you're grabbing the references correctly so it's not a double line, it's not leaving any gaps. طبعا you can do pick lines as well. I mean, there are multiple ways to cut them down. Make sure to grab the concrete, not the face. We're going all the way to the concrete. Make sure there's a full نشوف هذا خط زايد trim. Okay, then you have a clean concrete slab all the way مع beams, all connected. Okay? We don't need to, again, I'm just showing you how to do it, you can do it later. الحين, a couple of things I want us to work on next, the staircase and the ceilings. Okay, it's going to take some time, so let's jump into it. I want you to go to your ground floor.
My laptop reset Maji if there are transferred like before it resets whatever, but how can I check?
We'll do it right now. Select your staircase and drop down the staircase with me. Do you see an option that says monolithic stair or Ben saying marble finish?
No.
If you don't have marble stair, that means you didn't transfer the file.
No. I did transfer.
If you have many windows open, this X in the cascade windows closes all the inactive views. And then like it's at ground floor for now. Yeah, that's the next step. So منو ما بين عنده marble? That means you didn't do the transfer. So go back, open the Revit file, the Revit details file. Just repeat the steps.
So manage.
You're supposed to have this finish, marble finish, monolithic stair, marble finish. If you don't see that in your file, that means you did not do the transfer. Either you didn't do it or you didn't do it well.
This one?
هل يطلع لك error؟ ممكن يطلع error.
This one?
اللي طلع marble finish, I want you to check here. But when you select your stair, change it to marble finish. Check those details in here. It's supposed to say ground 0, first floor, offset 0. Desired number of steps, it's supposed to say 626. Go to edit type. And make sure this says 150 and 300 for maximum riser and tread depth. And 1200. هذه كلها settings مالت stairs. How wide the step, الارتفاع. بعدين run type and landing type. This is where you edit the material on the stairs. So here it's supposed to say 150 mm depth, marble finish. This is the customized one that I added to the file. If you click on the three dots in here, you can edit this. I want you to open a section through the stairs. You have one of your sections is cut through the stairs, صح? And if it's not, then cut a section through the stairs, okay, just to look at your stairs. You can add a new section. You checked all of your sections, and one of them used to be through the stairs. The one we hid, we didn't delete it.
I didn't think that I hid it. Do I
Yeah.
unhide it?
You don't have to unhide this. You can find it on the left. It's still there. الحين بدش بالتفاصيل بس أول شيء غيروا الدرايف from monolithic stair to marble finish. This is the standard one. Select your staircase and change it to marble finish.
Is it okay if we get an error?
Yeah, that's how we're gonna fix it. I'm gonna talk about the properties and how we're gonna fix it.
I have the desired number.
Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. Just go to your sections view, select the staircase, and on the left side, it should have these details. Base level, ground floor,
Yeah.
offset 0. Top level first, offset 0. Desired number 26, not 27. Change it.
I changed it.
In the end, I need 27. Change it to 26. And apply. It should say actual riser and actual tread 300 and 500 and 150. لا. ليش وقتي موجودة وانا قاعد اشرح؟ أيوة okay. Check your staircase in section view. Go to the section view through the stairs. Select the staircase وغيره from monolithic stair to marble finish. Marble موجود؟ تمام. في أحد للحين ما عنده marble؟ Did you transfer ولا بعد؟
I don't have one.
You're selecting everything وقاعد تسوي override. والفايل اللي قاعد تشتغلين فيه ما فيه monolithic marble؟ لا. هذه؟ ايش فيها؟ This is up to you. أنا ما أدري شغل بالstair. When we talk about landing, it's changing this landing. This is the landing اللي احنا manually we added, and you choose whatever finish you want to do. Which it probably should be somewhat related to this. وين وصلنا؟ تمام؟
دكتور في الاوفر can I do it by edit type or should I do it
يعني الحين marble stair مو موجود؟
بس only monolithic stair
بطل الفايل اللي نزلتيه من تيمز Revit details بتاريخ اليوم مو مال آخر مرة
yesterday
تاريخ أمس تمام بطلته والحين بطل الفايل مالك بطل بالضبط ولا لا؟ بطل فايلك زين بطل أي فايل ثاني اوكي بطل الحين مبطلين الفايلين بطلوا active view from your project floor plan section anything
في اشياء بتختلف بالشيتس فاكمل
لا تعرفين شو اللي اختفى؟ تكست
الصور في اشياء
إذا السور then the walls uncheck walls when you do the transfer again you copy the original file مرة ثانية وعيد الستep هذا بس uncheck walls and سي بس تأكد إذا في أي كاتيجوري ثانية. بطلتي فايلين؟ بطلتي الفايل مانج. بطل الفايل مانج. Transfer project standards. إيه manage transfer project standards. منو بعد ما بين عنده marble stairs بس أنت بين صح؟
Yes.
بطل فايلين. بطل الفايل مانج الحين active view. Any view ما تفرق. مو من your file. Manage transfer project standards. Everything is checked. Okay. Check all. Hit OK and then override. عايشة انت ما في marble? You did the override? انزين. طلع error?
But still don't know them.
Okay, then wait. في أحد عنده مشكلة بالsteps مو واصلة to the top floor, to the first floor?
The first floor. It's not reaching the.
Like this?
Yeah.
If you hover over it, you'll notice that the last step is reaching.
It looks like this.
Yeah, it's probably this last step is going on. This is behind this lab.
Okay. Still pretty long.
They marble check. Just wait till it's done, and then check your staircase if it's إذا في marble. خلص الترانسفير. شنو ينفع الانفورميشن اللي يسوي project transfer project data؟ From شنو file. الساعة 10 يمكن بطل فايل قديم. Make sure you're using the تاريخ أمس. تاريخ أمس شنو التاريخ اللي عندكم؟ هذا الفايل الفيرجن ديتيلز القديم. ما في التفاصيل الجديدة. طلع من الحين قاعد يسوي ولا خلاص؟ شنو الرقم الفايل؟ اليوم 23 it's supposed to be 22 or 2110. Then if you go to here, it's supposed to say 2600. If you go to edit type, again, this is supposed to say 150, 300. This is where you can change it if you want to, just don't. Run type, 150 mm, that's the customized one that I added. If you click on the side, these three dots, underside is smooth. If for whatever reason you want a stepped من تحت, this is where you change it to stepped. But don't do that, or at least you can test it out, see how it looks. إذا تبون stepped من تحت, this is where to change it. Structural depth 150 spine. Hey, tread material is marble. Monolithic material هذه هي الصبة نفسها مالت الستراكشر. It's cast in place, concrete cast in place, cast in situ. Tread material is marble. Generally احنا شنو الماتيريالز اللي عندنا when we do staircase? Let's talk about different options. Let's start with residential. Usually, what is the material you see حق الفinish مال الدرج? What's the most common one? Asma.
Ceramic.
Ceramic actually is not the most common one. Even البيوت اللي أرضيتها ceramic, usually درج رخام. That's the more common one. It's the درج رخام. Ceramic, sometimes it could be ceramic where especially if it's designed for stairs, so you find the last step is actually rounded, ممكن فيه خطوط, so you don't slip. So there are ceramic tiles designed for stairs, that's an option. Marble is the most common. There's also granite. This granite is more offices, commercial use. Okay. في terrazzo اللي هو نفس الكاشي, which is either poured on site. Okay, نفس الطريقة اللي قلت لكم عليها قبل إنه you pour it and you can put فواصل بعدين make it smooth. بس حق ده ما تحتاج الفواصل هذه. Or it's ready-made terrazzo. مثلا شركة الصناعات الوطنية, they sell two types where it's actually نفس الرخام بالضبط, where you can put the top part and the riser, the tread and the riser. Or as one piece, it comes as like a L, ويتحط directly على الstep. So that's also an option. I'm putting it marble. Marble is fine to keep. You can change it to something else. But you know, this is where to edit it. Cut pattern. It's going to be, if it's marble, so it's stone. But that's where you change. You can change it to travertino if your flooring is travertino. Riser, نفس material. الحين, you'll see these two items checked. Tread, that's where you put your foot on top, the horizontal part. Riser, check, that's the vertical part. Thicknesses, these are standard thicknesses for marble and granite. زين, for the Kuwait typically, the tread where you put your foot, لأن that requires more pressure, تكون 3 centimeters, which is 30 mm. In vertical, it doesn't take as much pressure, so it's cheaper to make it thinner, which is 22 centimeters or 20 mm. Sometimes the risers are slanted. If you check slanted, you'll see it will change the shape of your riser. Where have you seen it slanted typically? There's one more type, ما تكلمنا عنها. Have you ever been in emergency stairs either in like tall buildings or in parking garages? المواقف. بالمواقف, typically material is cement, could be painted. Well, typically when they do cement, they do it angled. If it's poured, مثلا, it's just, this helps when you step and so you don't trip, because it doesn't fix the issue of the cleaning. So uncheck this. Back to treads. ذكرون تكلمنا على nosing. What is nosing? The stairs. Exactly. It's that little piece that's popping out. Actually, if you hover over it. So this is the nosing, and you can change the profile. You can import stuff into the file and change the profile. This is the standard one, which is just a rectangle. And again, I put a standard length, which is 2 centimeters popping out. كلامنا and this has 2 reasons why it's there. شنو السبب؟ نظافة. So when you, let's say, are flushing cleaning the floor and water is coming down, it doesn't go straight on the riser. It doesn't get stained. Well, the other reason, function.
Not tripping.
So you don't trip, so you don't fall. Your foot goes شوية under the riser, the nose. So again, that's their default. So I'm just showing you where it is, so to change if you want to. There's also an option to change this connection. Riser to tread connection. شنو معناته؟ في 3 options. You can extend the tread under the riser, and the tread goes under the riser. Extend tread under riser. You see this? The tread right now, فوق هيقعد the riser. Okay, that's a typical detail. If you switch it, extend riser behind tread. See what changed here? Let me zoom in. Okay, you see now the tread, the horizontal part, فوقها the riser, the vertical part. If you change this to riser behind tread, you see what happened? The riser صار behind the tread. شنو يقعد على شنو? You choose as a design decision which one you want, and this one joins them together. In real life, either if it's a poured type of finish, نفس terrazzo مثلا, or if you join it like 45 degrees, but then they meet together this way. So there are different ways for that to happen. Again, you can keep it as is. I'm just showing you the different options of the stairs. Anyone has issues with their stairs reaching to the top? Okay. الحين, I want you to go to your ground floor view. If you have a railing, select it and delete it. Delete both sides. Okay. Find your railing. You can select the railing by itself. If you have a railing, find it, click on the railing بروحه, delete. Okay? Now, I want you to align your staircase with the finish of the wall. If you have a gap, like this, or it's over into the wall, the dashed line, do AL, align. Select the finish مال الطوفة, and align the staircase, both sides, the horizontal and the vertical. When you use align, have you noticed this lock show up? Do you want to know what these locks do? Aaron, locks what? Yes, when you click on the lock, it locks. فلو الطوفة اتحركت, الدرج يتحرك معك. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. Okay? It's a good thing that it gives you some flexibility when you're moving things around. It moves with it, so you don't have to keep fixing everything. It's a negative thing, then it adds constraints. So you might want to do something that then the lock says you can't do it, and a key constraint will not be met. So it could limit how you're working in the work. Anyway, المهم ان this is aligned مع الفinish, not with the core, مع الفinish. Okay, then I want you to select architecture, railing في an arrow drop down. Without sketch path, we're going to say place on stairs/run. Railing, change it to 1000 mm. Okay. And then you're going to go over your staircase and click once. And it will place the stairs this way, the railing this way. So I cut railing برا as a U, and inside as a smaller U. Okay. Once you add your rails, I want you to go to your 3D view. Select any one of your walls. Right click, hide in view, category. And rotate to look at your staircase. الحين منو عنده بين الدرج والصالة طوفة؟ في أحد حط طوفة بين الدرج والصالة؟ All the way floor to ceiling؟ ولا قاعد تتكلمين على بين الغرفة والدرج؟ الدور الأرضي في أحد حط طوفة هني بين الدرج وبين الصالة؟ أوكي، اللي ما عنده طوفة هني لازم يخلي الريلينج من هني لللاندنج اتليست. شوفون الريلينج هذا من هني لللاندنج. Otherwise, imagine if this is not there, you go up the steps, you would fall over down, صح? So we're keeping the stairs here. Go to the ground floor. I want you to select the railing outer side, big U, just the railing by itself. Then go to edit path on the top. In terms of function, we don't need the railing along the walls. So you can select each segment by itself. So we're going to select the wall, railing اليمين, and this one you select and delete those sides. Again, اللي ما عنده طوفانية, which most of you have to keep this one. And this shows you the direction of the railing, where it starts and where it's going. الجول انت عندك معك طوفة؟
No.
Okay, so you're going to keep this set up. Once you're done, hit check.
Sorry. So I removed the ones on the other side near the wall, right?
Yes, we're keeping the one between the living room and the stairs, and we're deleting the ones near the walls. Go back to 3D view to make sure you did the right side. You'll notice the railing now is only on between the living room and the stairs. And then the one that was along the wall here is not there anymore. الحين ذكرون قلنا ان once you land you're on this side صح؟ شنو صار هني once you walk to this spot here؟ راح تطير. So this railing we need to connect it to this side. So go to your first floor now. Select your railing and go to edit path. Masma, I can't hear you.
الأصل بعيدة عن الدرج نسوي لها لاين
Hey,
اللاندنج.
yes, you have to check this floor slab, edit boundary, make sure it's aligned with your staircase. And the other side, it's aligned with the inner side of the court. The Karon first floor, I said align it with the inner side of the court. مو برا داخل. You align the staircase to the top or bottom فصار gap صح؟ That's what happened. معرفة. Because you aligned your stairs to the wall, صار gap. So you have to fix it. If you moved your staircase, make sure that they're aligned with the floor slabs around them. الحين, in the first floor level, select your railing, edit path, and now we want to extend the railing to get to here. Which one of these railings are we going to extend?
The down.
My right or your right?
Our
It's the same. قطع الشاشة. What happens if you take this railing and take it here?
أفضل الدور الأرضي.
The door level is up because that's where we're starting the railing. I think that's what I showed you last time. And that's why some of you have your railing بالأرضي. So you have to grab and look at this railing. It starts in here بالأرضي, goes up to the landing, then turns, then goes all the way up here to land on the first floor. I go where it landed, and I draw a line. Make sure you grab this end point. You cross the other one and take it all the way to the edge of your bedroom. Now, this here, something has to happen here. By default, in your files, there's a gap between the stairs and the bedroom. صح؟ ذكرون قلنا في 3 options. يا الرailing هذا يكمل, so I can grab it and continue it all the way there. That's one option. Or I build the wall from the base of the first floor all the way to the ceiling. يصير فاصل بين الدرج وبين the bedroom. Or this option, I added a wall that's only 1 meter high. So 3 options, you need to pick one of these. You can't just leave it open. I'm actually, because I have a wall, I'm going to bring it behind the wall. The wall is kind of my railing. You hit check. Check it again in your 3D view. It should have done this.
What?
So this way, if you're up here in the landing, you wouldn't fall down 4 meters. Okay? Any questions about stairs, grading?
ما نكملها actually أنا ما كنت
I gave you 3 options, pick one. يا grading يكمل هني، يا تبني طوفة ارتفاعها متر، يا تبني طوفة من الأرض للسقف. Pick one of these 3.
Yeah. What? Yes.
Everyone's stairs are fine?
Like here.
Okay, let's go back to the section.
Wait, but like how thick is the wall? That's what's the wall type? That's an interior wall?
It should be interior, so it's plaster on both sides.
Yeah.
And check your width to be the width of the gap. You might
It's
edit the
gonna be
wall.
like a thick wall.
So it will be an interior wall that, hey, let me measure. Measure the gap. What's the gap? 200?
Let me check.
You can do DI.
Yeah. It's 220.
Okay. So ideally your wall would be 220. So you don't have to make any modifications. So when you add a wall, architecture wall, basic interior wall, مثلا هني, check your, if you go to edit type, the width now is 250. So you can modify, duplicate this, and change it to, and then you would edit the structure to be total 220. So you have to shave off 30 mm.
In which
Doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
Actually, not the core. So keep the core the same, because that's a standard 150. So you can shave off and heal equally on both sides.
Interior wall plaster finish, right?
Yes, so it's plaster on both sides. Okay, let's go back to the section. Hey, I want us to work on the ceiling. We're going to have 2 special conditions for ceiling. We're going to build the ceiling. One condition is going to be hidden light, cove lighting that you can see here. This is the profile. We're going to show you some examples. ينحط الإضاءة هنا. So what happens? The light would shine up, it would hit, reflect, and come down this way. Okay, that's hidden light condition B. Now you can use this also to hide the curtains as well. This here it's above the bed, so we're using it for lighting. In the bathroom, we will do a shadow gap. 50 50. So 5 سم 5 سم.
Will be drawn good.
We will model it and draw it. So there are different ways to do the same kind of thing. If you are good with modeling, you can actually model the ceiling exactly as it is when you cut the section. That can take too much time if you're not that good with modeling. So what I'm doing is I'm modeling parts of it to guide me and to use the ceiling for lights وأشياء ثانية بعدين. بس بالآخر I'm actually drawing a region. This is a region. This is filled region, or masking region, sorry. But before we get to that, you will model the railing, the ceiling. We're going to build the ceiling in 2 parts. So you will see the ceiling. This is going to be one ceiling. This is going to be another ceiling. We'll use that as a guide to draw the region. And then we will hide the ceiling after that. Okay, فهنسوي كذا خطوة. Okay, so let's start the ground floor plan. And if you notice the section in here, this ceiling مال الصالة ارتفاع 3 meters. This ceiling مال المطبخ is dropped lower. That's where the AC is coming. Just like here, you see how the AC is coming from the side? It's not from the top. So if this was our living room condition, basically you would be sitting where the kitchen is, and you'd have a ceiling covering the bottom of the AC. But in me, this is like the living room where the AC is high. This is what we're trying to do. So high ceiling, low ceiling. Matbakh, living room. That's what we're doing with ACs from the side, bringing the air, just like you see here in section. Okay? So go to your ground floor plan. Go to architecture, ceiling. Two options. By default it says automatic ceiling وفي sketch ceiling. If you مثلا go with automatic ceiling and put the mouse the floor plan, it will select the entire floor. It highlights in red where the ceiling is going to go, which is not what we want. We don't want the stairs to have the ceiling. We don't want the kitchen to have the same ceiling. And we will create two ceilings. واحد عالي واحد واطي. So we're going to say sketch ceiling. And we're going to fix أول شيء the height offset. The ground floor, we're in the ground level thing. Height offset 3000. The cone we said 3000. The ceiling should say plain gypsum ceiling. That's a customized ceiling plate and different. And now you're going to draw a boundary line. You could also pick lines, but I'm going to do boundary line. I'm going to start from one corner of the living room. I'm going to go all the way to the railing, to the edge of my stairs. So I'm drawing the outline. I want the landing of the stairs to be in my ceiling. So I go to the first step. If it's not grabbing a reference, you can move the mouse شوية up and down until it grabs it. Or a safer way to do it is you go across and you cross it, and then you escape, and then you come back and you grab the intersection. Because we'd have to then come back and trim the edge.
ما تسوي selected space صح؟
لا, can I say we ceiling, sketch, and drawing the lines. So make sure before you keep going, you do trim, TR trim, and then fix this corner. Again, I'm drawing على the finish. Okay, when I get to the kitchen, I want to stop at the edge of the kitchen. So again, if you can't grab the edge of your wall, I recommend doing what I just did. You go across past it, escape, come back, grab this line, go past it, so there's a cross in here, you intersect it, but then TR. This way you know this is an exact 90 degree. صوب المطبخ طلعت. ما كملت داخل المطبخ. Okay? You can do pick lines if you want. Again, to make sure this is connected, trim. You're doing the outer side of the kitchen wall, not the inner side. And then close your shape. Make sure you're selecting the end point. Look at your outline. This is how the outline should be. صالة مع اللاندنج بدون المطبخ. بدون الدرج بدون المطبخ.
How did you do this? The view and the line both?
I selected the chain. It's pink.
Yep.
I just hovered over one side, tab, and I selected the chain just to highlight it. Okay? Once you have the outline done, check again, the height, make sure it says 3000. Uncheck room bounding. We don't need any additional elements that are telling us the edges of the room. So already عندنا أطواف, عندنا رسمنا خطوط قبل صح to do our room labels. So uncheck room bounding, it doesn't need to be there. Apply, and then hit the check. If you go to your section, you should see your, you should see your ceiling up here. صح? And then you'll see it a gap, and here this is elevation, this is cut. عدل؟
No.
No? شنو يبين عندك؟
Almost not.
You're cutting through section AA. Your section اللي فيه check your section. Okay, next step I want us to do the ceiling مال المطبخ. So go back to your ground floor. Repeat the same steps: ceiling, gypsum ceiling, sketch ceiling. الارتفاع كم تذكرون قلت بالدرجة؟ سوري بالمطبخ؟ 2.3 so 2,500 فرق نص متر. You can do rectangle, draw one. Actually here, a good place to draw this, so you can undo if you want. A good place to draw this would be the ceiling plan. If you go to your ground floor ceiling plan, you will see the ceiling that you drew. This is the ceiling that you drew, صح? And you'll see a gap in it. This is the ceiling gap we want to close. So you can draw the ceiling here to make sure you're grabbing the edges. So again, 2,500. So this should be your ceiling model kitchen. Check in your section view. Did you create one that's up 2.5 meters with up or that? Yes? Hey, في gap بينهم صح? Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. Instead of having to model everything, now I suggest you draw a region. You can draw detailed lines as guidelines to know where you're going to draw your region. Make sure to delete them, Agub. So close your shape. العرض مال ceiling is 30 mm. So you can draw it as a guideline. Where you put your duct, I'm centering it in that gap. So شلون نرسم الحين مو في خط هني. You can draw a detail line from the center of this. And here هذا ارتفاع 120. So I drew the center line here, I copy it 60 and 60, 60 لفوق.
connection for detail lines.
راح يصير filled region أو masking region with edges. I'm just doing the guidelines where I'm going to do the region. 120. The width of this is 30.
The width of the vertical is 30.
The thickness of the ceiling is 30. If you do edit type, you will see thickness 30. That's the thickness of our ceiling.
So the connection would be 30 as well.
The same. It's the same material they connected.
Okay.
This duct thingy, just as a note, you have the A3 اللي أنا حطيته as the guideline for you. You can print it. It's to scale. You can measure. فإذا مثلا مو عارفين duct ارتفاع أو هذا, just measure it directly off the sheet. So this is 120. Okay? These are estimates. the mechanical engineer مال HVAC راح يحط actual estimates. But we're just giving the design. We roughly know it's more or less within that range, and so they can base it off of that. So once you have your guidelines, then in here this is going to be called one region. وتحت is going to be another region, 2 L's. You can start drawing the region. So go to annotate, region, masking region. The line style, medium lines, and it's a cut. And then you can just draw over your ceiling up to the guideline اللي انا سويته مع 120 هذا هنا. لأن في gap. Make sure it's closed. You can do the trim to make sure it's fully closed. And then you can hit check. This is my ceiling for the top part. Once you draw the top part, you can select your ceiling in the background and hide it. Because we don't need to see it anymore in this section view. And you repeat the same one for the L اللي تحت. Clear? Okay. Let's move on to the first floor, and then there's more detail, and we only have 4 minutes. The ceiling اللي هي, this is the detail اللي أنا مسويه, and you look, if you go to your section sheet, these are the dimensions for this detail. But we're going to draw 2 ceilings. Again, واحد تحت, واحد فوق. Okay? If you go to the first floor, this is where we're going to draw the ceiling mal the first floor. So you go to architecture, ceiling. Don't forget to fix the height back to 3000. Sketch. Here we will draw the ceiling all the way to the edge of the stairs as well. Very similar to the other one. امشي مع الفينشينج. Ceiling the first floor. It's about 3000.
Without the bathroom, right?
Without the bathroom. The bathroom is going to have another ceiling at 3000 as a separate piece.
Do I include the readings or not?
Yes. To the edge of the stairs. زين. Maybe بس ركزوا معي عشان I show you how to do it, and you can do it بروحكم, and it's going to take time if you do it step by step. You see the outline اللي أنا سويته? Bedroom, landing, closet. Okay? الحين I'm doing the back of the bed where the cove lighting detail is going to happen. So I select this edge, I move it 200 mm away from the wall. It was going with the finish, I moved it 200 mm. And there's a gap here. Then I hit check. So now this is my ceiling where I put it. Go to your ceiling first floor. You will see the ceiling here. هذا ارتفاع كم؟ 3000. الحين أبي أسوي the top of the cove light. Okay? As a guideline. This gap, 200, I'm going to make a ceiling only 200. على ارتفاع كم؟ احنا قلنا الكوب لايت كم بكم؟ هذا الجاب الشادو جاب اللي بالحمام. So you'll do what I'll show you the bathroom in a minute. هذا 20 ب 20 سم. فارتفاع this little gap, so when I do ceiling ايوه exactly 3200. Okay, sketch ceiling rectangle, and I'm going to close this gap here. المهم ان اسكر ال 200 هذا ما يصير في gap. ال 200 هذه من الزاوية للزاوية. Whatever gap you did, you fill it up with the ceiling. 3200. Check. Look at this in section. Let me hide this.
دكتور هذه 200 مال البدروم ولا؟
I'm looking at the bedroom thing. And I'm telling you some standards, there are different profiles, but this is what you will see. The top part that we just modeled and this one. And then you draw the guidelines, نفس الexample اللي أنا حطيته, and then you do a masking region over that. نفس ما سوينا تحت. This ceiling is 2 ceilings. Okay. هذا على ارتفاع 3000, هذا على ارتفاع كم؟ احنا قلنا الجاب is 50 by 50. 3050, 3050, which is this 50. So let's look at this in the first floor ceiling. Make sure you're selecting the ceiling plans. This is the 3000 height. And then here, this is how I do the shadow gap. I do the face, my little bathroom, and then I have to do like a donut, and I have to cut through it. It's not wall to wall, but it's only the 50 mm that's wrapping around the bathroom wall. So you do 2 lines on the ceiling. Is that clear?
Okay, just repeat.
Let me do it for you. When I think الحين أنا سويت اللي داخل, it's offset 50, okay? خلصنا على ارتفاع 3000. I'm done with that ceiling.
That's the outline
بالحمام.
of the bathroom.
So there's a gap 50 here.
Okay.
There's a gap. Then to do the shadow gap, the higher part, I do ceiling ارتفاع 3050. I do 2 rectangles. I do the outer one. If I stop here, it's going to be على ارتفاع 30-50 from wall to wall, and I don't need it all the way. I just want it to stop at the 50. So I have to then draw another one to make like a hole in it. So it becomes like a donut. But it's going to have a hole in it. It's not going to continue. So if you hit check, I'm just going to exit this. When you look at it in section, you will see 2 ceilings. واحد مكسوس من هني, وواحد مكمل. And then when you draw the guidelines, you draw a region like we did now. Okay? A couple of things about the detail. So once you draw the detail in here, you select it, copy it, okay, and you include it in a key plan. So if you go to, like you did a legend, what I did was I created a legend in here, and I just copied it من وكان ما رسمتها بالsection, and I copied it in the legend in here, just like you did the plan legend. It's a new legend. This is a region that has one side a heavy line of other invisible. It's diagonal. This is drawn. This is the new style, 1.5 mm. Okay? And then I bring this at 1 to 25 scale into my sheet. If you go back to your sheet, A301, you will see the detail here. View scale 1 to 25. So it's zoomed in. It's showing me what's happening in this detail. Is that clear? And then, there's one last thing, and then you pretty much know everything to complete the section. I don't expect it to be fully done, طبعا. That's what I'm saying. Monday is a draft. Get as much done so we can look at what you have and I can give you feedback. So while we're working on the ceiling plans next week, you can finish your sections. If you open your section, section AA, الطوفة اللي فيها 2 windows, that's where we're going to do a call out for the wall section. So just like we did a call out in Gabel, view, call out, select the wall, and I'm doing this side and I already did the other side. So select the whole wall and فوق لتحت. And it's going to show up on the left side over here. Then you right click, duplicate view as a dependent. هتصير تحتها. We'll talk about the other types in the future, but for now it needs to be a dependent. ليش? When I do anything in this section, like the match line, it's going to show up in the other view. They're connected. هذا if it is dependent, which is what I just did. Right click, duplicate view as a dependent. That's when then you take the first one, which is right on the top, you can crop it up to the beam من تحت, and then this part is overlap. Okay? The other one, you come to the here and you crop it from top to bottom. This beam shows in both of them. And then you just click and drag it into a new sheet. You'll notice here the sheet. This is one of them and this is the other, top and bottom. But as long as they're dependent, أي شيء أقسمه هني راح يبين هني. If they're not dependent, they will act as if they're totally different. فترسموا شيء ما راح يبين. But it needs to be a dependent. Clear? This is a draft, no details expected, just place it onto a sheet. Any questions? Okay. We will see you on Monday, inshallah.
The ceiling is showing up, but this one thing is not showing.
That is so the ceiling support is just drawn and copied. I did it once and I did it as a group, create group, and you just copy it.
What about spacing?
It's around 600. Again, any question you have, measure it from the A3. Anything in doubt, عندكم ال A3, either print it or do it full scale and measure it from there. I have some stuff that was from before Emel and Ali.